The festival provides an opportunity to do something that only festivals can accomplish, which is to explore unusual repertory. We have the fantastic advantage of having all of our academy students or participants here with us. So this piece sort of came across the desk, and knowing that it also hasn't been performed much at all, very rarely, it seemed like a perfect fit. It was a day in October in 1682 in Salzburg. It was about 60 years or so after the rebuilding of the cathedral in Salzburg. So the one that we see now, if you go to visit Salzburg, is the one that was consecrated or rebuilt in the early 1600s after a fire had destroyed the first structure. And that led to a great sort of renovating and redesigning of many parts of the city. Well, to celebrate that, or when they came upon what was the 1100th anniversary of the founding of the diocese, people put two and two together, or they put 53 together, 53 parts, or 70-some musicians, and had this fantastic day in October. And it's been fun for us to imagine what that day was like. Here in San Francisco, we have a lot of great festivals and street fairs, and even from the first thing in the morning, there's a kind of excitement in the air, and I'm sure that was the case in Salzburg. And I'm also quite sure that after this fantastic festival mass, there's lots of celebrations afterwards, and I hope that people will go out and celebrate afterwards tonight too. Well, the Salzburg Cathedral is extremely symmetrical, and it's not a gigantic space. So, like down the nave, on each side of the nave are 4 galleries, so 8 in total. And whereas if you go to Venice and you step inside St. Mark's, San Marco, and you see all these fantastic galleries, in fact, it was probably very impractical for them to use them as we wish they might have, because they're too far separated. So even the idea of what's called cori spezzati, or spatially placed groups of instruments, they would have been closer together than we imagine when we walk in. In Salzburg's cathedral, however, the galleries are close enough to each other, and so they certainly utilized those. It's a beautiful, beautiful structure, and again, it's just perfectly made for a piece like this. There are 9 groups of instruments. We have 2 separate groups of singers, 2 separate groups of various string instruments, some recorders and oboes, cornetos and trombones, and 3 different groupings of trumpets, 2 sets of 4 trumpets and timpani placed antiphonally, and then a primary pair of clarino trumpets, which is right in the middle. Then you add into that the continuo players, the bass instruments, the 2 organs, and extra singers to double the full parts. And we have about 77 in this performance tonight. So we put it together and put the calls out to trumpeters all across the country, and of course the corneto players and sackbut players. And what was wonderful and really remarkable is how eager they all are to perform this piece. It's definitely not on the normal flight pattern, for most of us. So it's a great opportunity. And of course, the especially odd aspect about this is that in about 8 hours from now, or 10 hours from now, it's gone into the ether for another several decades, if not longer. It's a part of making music.